Hey guys, welcome back. We are in the garden today. We're gonna do a full garden tour. I'll show you. There's been a lot of progress. A lot of things are growing like crazy right now. So come along and I'll show you what's growing. Okay, let's start over here today. Look at that freaking beautiful. These are supposed to be cucumbers, but that very much looks like a squash flower and it looks like a squash plant. So perhaps I got confused when I was planting my seeds. I'm not sure. But there are other cucumbers in this bed. So let me flip you around and I'll show you. Okay, so maybe a squash, we're not sure. Dill, lots of dill starting to flower, which is really nice. Now these are definitely cucumbers. And they've found the trellis, they're hanging on. So we've got flat leaf parsley and dill in here, more cucumbers. I've got like a mesh for them to climb on. There's more cucumbers in here. No signs of cucumbers yet, but we are getting some flowers, which is great. So yeah, maybe next week there'll be a cucumber to report. Let's go around this way. Raspberry bush. Not on this side, but there are some like berries forming down there. See that? There you go. Alrighty, we've got more flat leaf parsley. Across the back is some oregano. This is cilantro that has gone to seed, and so once it goes to seed, it goes like this, and then it suddenly becomes coriander. So you can harvest this and let it dry, and then you've got coriander for your spice cupboard. This little guy is a zucchini. He's not thriving over here, so I've actually planted more right here. This bed's, whoops, almost fell over there. This bed's a lot more open, gets a lot more sun. As you can see, there's a lot more stuff going on in this one. All along the sides here are the peas. So we have been picking peas for almost a full week now. I think we'll get maybe one more week out of it, and then we'll pull these peas out. All right, once the peas come out, these carrots will be less shaded. There's a few that are starting to look like carrots. I'm kind of in the way, but see that? I thinned some out the other day, so I've got some space in there for your carrots to grow. Yeah, see, we're still getting a fair amount of peas, but like I said, I think we've got one more week and then they'll be done. And we'll pull all these vines out. And I have a squash started, so it will in theory grow up the trellis and then grow along the wall here where all these peas are. Down below we've got some purple bok choy and green bok choy, some chamomile. It pops up randomly all over the place and I just like to leave it. I snap the heads off, dry them, and then we use that for tea. This is kind of fun. Look at this, you guys. So, squash. This is a spaghetti squash. In there, perhaps, you can see the startings. Maybe not. But this is a spaghetti squash. There was a random tomato that sowed itself in the back, so I've left it. Here's a little tip. When your flowers are open like this, just go along and tap them. And that's all you need to do to pollinate them. And you'll get fruit. Okay, I'm liking this area. It's kind of jungly. It's like there's a lot going on, but I like when it looks like this. I like when it's like sort of jungly and overgrown and several things all growing together. So I have a sunflower plant here, which is being grown around by a climbing bean. And we've got more climbing beans. And ooh, look at the little beans coming off, you guys. Very cool. This was an accident. So last year I was growing just regular bush beans, and one of them started to climb. and I was just like, wow, I kind of like that. The beans were delicious. It produced a lot. So I saved a bunch of those bean seeds, let them dry, and I've planted them all over the garden. Like all these climbing ones on this fence are this climbing green bean. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. Like, look, it's a really good producer. Like it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't just like produce flowers and no beans. So that's kind of neat. I'll keep you updated on that. Like there's so many of them. Look at them all. Very cool. Okay, here we go. We got another squash. This guy is a spaghetti squash. See the difference? You can see the base there. That's a spaghetti squash. If it had gotten pollinated, I don't know that it did. It's pretty early in the season. Then that squash would start maturing and turning into a fruit. We've got some thyme. The thyme is flowering. That's fine. This is lemon thyme. It's delicious. More coriander. I'll whip you around over here. The garlic's almost ready to come out. This is what they're supposed to do, guys. The leaves are supposed to get brown like this and die back. So we'll let them maybe go another week or two, and then I'll pull them out. This is celery. We've got some carrots in here. These broccolis are pretty much done. So we're gonna take them out. You can see there's still a few little heads in there. But yeah, broccolis are pretty much done. I have planted some dinosaur kale. So that will be for the winter months, for like December. It will get quite tall. It will survive frost and snow and whatnot. So that's sort of planning ahead for the fall winter garden. I did throw in some more bean seeds in here. These are just regular bush beans. They have popped up. That's cool. I want to show you something down here though, guys. I have more beans down here. And one of them I think has wilt, which is something that's in the soil. And it's funny because only the ones got it and the rest of them in the patch don't. So come look. Look how many freaking, these produce purple beans too. So pretty. Yeah, you can see there are some little beans in there. So yeah, look at this. This is the one with the wilt, quite obviously. See the leaves are curled, see the brown on it. And it's funny because it's producing beans. And I'm debating, I'm like, do I rip it out so it doesn't share its wilt with the other ones? Because the ones right beside it are still fine. So I don't really know what to do. I might just take it out. Like I'm not, yeah, let's do that. We're not hurting for bean plants. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'll fill you in when I decide. Cabbages, they're starting to get little heads in there. So I just yesterday there were black pots, which is why the leaves are a bit wilty. They were kind of getting cooked in their black pots. It was really hot. So I took the pots out. I put a bunch of compost around the base of each one. Tucked them in good. Cabbages like to be like the soil, like down here. They like that to be packed in really good. So that's what I've done with the cabbages. They are just starting to form little heads in there. Along this wall, this is milkweed. So it has bloomed. Some of it's almost spent and done. Beside it, we have tomatillos. No signs of tomatillos yet. There's lots of yellow flowers, but I've yet to see the honeybees. And this happened last year too. I didn't see the bees until mid-July. So I'm not sure. They definitely need to be pollinated because you need two plants. So it needs the pollen from one to cross-pollinate like the other to produce. So I'm thinking maybe I need bees. All right, far corner, there's a horseradish. Chives are done. Some tomato plants, squash, more climbing beans, more squash, more climbing beans. Got some beautiful looking lettuce down here. So we're gonna start eating those. These are little romaines. See the little romaine hearts? We got some nice red merlots in there too. These are ground cherries. Our friend the squirrel damaged one of my Luffa gourds that I had grown from seed. These are the other ones. They're climbing up the trellis. Hopefully this guy will turn into a loofah and you can follow along. See, there's like another little one. That one's a little bigger. Got some more beautiful lettuce down here. Pepper plants are looking happy. Although, see the little spots? Something is nibbling on that. Asparagus. Look at, new shoots are coming out, you guys. Got another one back there. See that? And then it turns into this big ferny thing. And you gotta do that for the first few years. You don't cut your asparagus, you just let those little tiny shoots grow up and become ferns. And that puts energy down into the roots. So maybe next year we'll start eating them. This is the second year. Next year will be the third year. So maybe next year we'll trim off a few of the asparagus. Okay, let me show you the climbing beans, Chinese noodle beans. Okay, these are the Asian noodle beans. It has found the trellis, is winding its way up. It's the only one that's found the trellis so far. There are about 5 plants in here. So hopefully they will all find the trellis soon. And then you'll see these guys get really long red noodle beans basically on them. Got a little bit of lettuce down here. This was just like a lettuce mix, one of those mesclun mixes. So I've got some like oak leaf lettuces in here and some more romaines along the side, just some more chamomile. And then over here, this bed's a bit of a disaster, but like, let's look. See the little green sweat bees? They're just loving their life. So I can't take their source of like food and pollen away. So I'm leaving this bok choy that has gone to seed so that the bees can eat. And these leaves down here I'm still pulling off and stir frying and using. Again, Swiss chard, some sort of not rightness, blightness. But I've had this before and it seems like the first few leaves get it, and then after that, the rest that it grows seem okay. Oh, see this, guys? This one's going to seed. Interesting. Let's crack that off. We can eat it right now. They're nice and tender. Yeah. Along this side, we've got more lettuce. Look how pretty that looks. And the squirrel ripped one of my peppers off this morning and ate it. So that's where it came from. So I think we're gonna have to get in here and put some collars around these guys or put some kind of netting up to protect these guys. Because look at that. He ate like a tiny bit and then now it's ruined. I can't use that. Little jerk. Just love this lettuce bed. It's super pretty. Okay, we'll go through the peppers. So this is the yellow Hungarian. And you can see it's starting to get a bit of yellow on it. Same thing with that one. This is a bell pepper. There's nothing to show on it right now. There was, but it fell off. So hopefully we'll get some more peppers on it. This is the shishito pepper. It is not spicy, but it's like a nice little frying pepper, and it's fairly prolific. As you can see, you get quite a few peppers off of the plant, and the more you pick, the more you get, so you just keep picking. Again, this is the shishito, not performing as well as its friend, but that's why you plant several, so that, you know, when this guy's producing, this one's not, this one will be producing, and that one won't be. These guys are cayenne. You can tell, I've got it written on the pot, but you can tell, you can see the point on it. It's a pointy little pepper. Got some jalapenos here. Gonna pick some of these soon. Some more jalapeno, more cayenne, more cayenne. I'm hearing there's like a thing that like sriracha sauce is in short supply, and I make my own. So I think what I'll do is show you guys how I use these cayenne peppers to make sriracha sauce. Maybe we'll do that this week. So if you love sriracha and you're afraid you can't get it, you can totally make your own. And these guys are a Jimmy Nardello pepper. So look at the size of that. And then it will turn red. And again, these aren't spicy. These are just like a frying pepper, cooking pepper. Let's take you over to tomatoes. So they are getting big, and we actually have fruit in there, which is neat. Let me show you. And lots of flowers. And again, if you want them to pollinate, just give them a little wiggle. Basil down below. This is a black crim tomato. You've got a little one in there, starting, and a bigger one over here. Purple basil down below. I find the purple basil plants last longer. They don't go to seed as fast, so I like to grow them as well. This guy is another brandywine tomato. So you can see the difference on its leaves. It's a potato leaf versus those guys are like more pointy leaf. This is what you call a potato leaf. And then beside that, I have something that's kind of like a little, they're not quite cherry, they're in between cherry. Black vernissage, something along those lines. So these will actually turn a darker color, and I'll keep you posted when that happens so you can see them. This is another Cherokee purple. These guys over here, I really like these. These are called Sunshine Bumblebee. They get mostly yellow with like tinges of red. And then beside that, in the back, this is yellow pear. See, they're actually pear-shaped, and they will turn yellow, which is pretty cool. And they're super flavorful. I find they're sweet, they're tasty, they last a long time. Eggplants, not really doing much, but we'll see what happens. And then just some herbs. This is a hot and spicy oregano. I got some rosemary, marjoram, nasturtiums that aren't loving their life in here, but we'll see what happens. Actually, speaking of nasturtiums that aren't doing well over here, but they are in the garden, and I didn't show you this part, so come with me. I'm going to show you, I've got nasturtiums growing down below, and I've got melons growing on top. So they are just right here in front of us. Okay, yeah, so just right there, melons and nasturtiums. So let's go see. So, melon, look at the big leaves on these. The nasturtiums, they haven't started to bloom yet, but that's okay. This is melon. So I had to Velcro it up. I don't know if you can see that, but I used Velcro to pull the plant up, and now it's starting to find its way. Let's zoom back out again so you can get a better idea. So yeah, the thought is that there will be melons growing up the trellis, and then all the nasturtium down below is like a pretty ground cover. And all my beans, look at all the climbing beans, you guys. Doing really well. Entire row of onions, looking really great. Some of them are starting to fall over. So when the tops do this, that means it's getting ready to be picked, basically. So the tops are gonna fall over, we're gonna let them go brown, and then we'll pull them out. Look at, there's some like decent sized onions in there. Yeah, and then you gotta cure them. So you let them sit in the sun for a day or two, and let the skins dry out. So we'll show you that process when it comes time to do it. Okay, well, that's pretty much the garden tour today. It is July 3rd, I think, today. So things are exploding. Things are growing really well. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.